Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Front Row Access Podcast. I am your host, Steven Russo.
I'm Anthony Gonzalez.
Let's fucking get it. Alright, guys. So, there's no fights this week. At all.
I mean, not on the
UFC side. There is something on the WWE side. Another Saturday night's main event. It's going to be main evented by Jey Uso.
The main event.
Jey Uso and Logan Paul, I think, are going to main event.
Really? Paul, huh?
Yep. So, that's going to be something. We have a cool tag team match on there between Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker versus CM Punk and Sami Zayn, so that should be interesting. And what's another match that's on Saturday night's main event? Those are the only two I can really think of that are notable right now.
Is Solo doing something?
I think Solo might be doing something.
Solo's probably doing something.
So that's all I got on that, but we'll be watching that this Saturday. Starts at 8 p.m. for those of y'all that are interested. And usually Saturday night's main events are just SmackDown Plus, so I mean, I'm not overly joyed, but not disappointed when it comes to a Saturday night's main event. It's always like a
just another chance to watch some WWE.
Yeah, so we take the chances.
Why on earth they didn't schedule UFC for this, but they did for the 2 weeks ago? What was
Backlash?
Backlash, I don't know.
Yeah, they had a Backlash and a WWE pay-per-view and Backlash and UFC the same day.
I don't know what TKO's business plan was for that.
They should be fired, whoever that is, because we had to fucking jet out of here as soon as the fucking match was done.
And it's not like you only got one Saturday main event per year.
Yeah, you get fucking
however many they want to give you.
As many as they want to give you. In between big pay-per-views. I mean, obviously, the big thing that WWE is leading up to right now is Money in the Bank, but we still don't got enough context for that, so we're just waiting on the world at this point. But that does not leave us without something to talk about today, and because, not only are we an MMA and wrestling podcast, but we're also an entertainment podcast in general. We do some music sometimes, and we got couple of things that were released this past weekend that we didn't talk about last week, but we want to talk about.
No, we're not talking about Kanye's song.
No, we are not talking about Kanye's song. Don't listen to it.
Not. That is not the music we were talking about, guys. We were talking about, obviously, this channel's favorite group who has finally made a return. Linkin Park.
Yep. So, Linkin Park's back at it. Obviously, new singer Emily Armstrong. We covered that in an earlier episode. You can get our feelings on that there, but to keep a long story short, we both like her, and we both enjoy what she's doing and anxious to see what she does next, but that doesn't mean we forgot about Chester Bennington, because nobody can forget about Chester Bennington. So, that being said, though, Linkin Park just released the deluxe edition of From Zero, 3 additional songs on top of the already From Zero album, which we also went over already. Couple of notable tracks on there. I think Anthony's favorite was Stained. Mine was Two-Faced. Obviously, we all love Emptiness Machine.
Yep.
And Good Things Go. I think those were the big ones for us. And also, the fucking comeback that Cut the Bridge had for me is insane. That was one of the songs on the album I was like, it's okay. But it grew on me so damn much. Now I'm fucking jamming to it. It's in the rotation now. So.
That one was definitely the biggest grow for me. Not, give you everything I have.
That one, still
doesn't hit me.
I'm still not huge with Casualty either. But Casualty is pretty good. But out of all of them, it was the one that grew on us the most was definitely Cut the Bridge. Like at first when I heard it, I was like, okay, that's all right. But then I listened to it again. I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. And I was like, all right, yeah, this shit is badass. And I don't know, I really love the bridge part of Cut the Bridge. Shock. So, and Mike's like, something in my head feels broken. Yeah, I fucking love that shit. So, but we have 3 new songs on the From Zero Deluxe Edition. We have Up From the Bottom, which was the first song that was released from the Deluxe Edition. We also have Unshatter and Let You Fade. We're going to go over each of them individually. And also, because I think I'm the only Morgan Wallen fan here, I am going to touch on the Morgan Wallen album just a little bit.
Maybe I'll get through that sometime this weekend. Mm-hmm. It's a 3-day weekend, and I might give my opinion afterwards, depending on if I do or do not get through that.
And it's a long fucking album, though.
Yeah, I'm not too big on new country.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my angle I'm coming into this with.
No,
So I don't know, give everything a shot.
yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it, but fuck it. He's still doing good things up in this world. He's definitely probably one of the bigger stars currently. So, but that's not our primary focus right now. We will go on to Linkin Park now. So let's start with Up from the Bottom. This song I feel like was like Emily's version of New Divide. This fucking song belongs on a movie trailer or in the end credit scenes. Up from the Bottom is a really fucking good song. Just overarching, what you feeling it about Up from the Bottom?
I really do like Up from the Bottom. I don't want to get my placements. Maybe we'll do that
We'll do
after
that
we
after.
go through all of them. But it's definitely a really good song off this album, and I'm anxious to dive into it and the other two.
Yeah. So I mean, let's want to go over just a lyric breakdown real quick. So we got verse 1. We got Emily coming in strong. We got some familiar guitars, a couple electronic symphonics in the background, big piano sound as well, and we got our first line, which is inside. It feels like I'm barely breathing. Feels like air is running out. Inside, I'm stuck here, staring at a ceiling that you put up to keep me down, 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 down. So, um, verse 1. I mean, I'm already getting some resentment out of these
Yep.
lyrics. So, I don't know. You getting resentment from this?
Yeah, I do. For me, it's a juxtaposition between some like what people contribute to a relationship, and mostly how an oppressed person feels about the oppressor in that situation.
Like, I am buried underneath this fucking rubble, and you motherfucking put me here, you bitch. That's
Yeah.
what I'm getting from this one. You put up to keep me down. I mean, that kind of just says it all right there. Stuck here staring at a ceiling that you put up to keep me down. Ceiling obviously represents a blockage between ascending into the limitless sky and within the confines of something. So it definitely feels like you're in the confines of something here. And then we have our pre-chorus. So we have Mike Shinoda coming in typical Mike Shinoda fashion. And he's saying, waking up without a name, open up my eyes, knowing nothing is the same, circling around a drain as I realize that there's no one else to blame. Once again, just kind of plays back into that good old resentment. And seems like waking up without a name, kind of losing yourself within somebody. So I'm getting that. Because that happens a lot, especially in my generation. So,
I've heard a lot of for me this is a big like relationship song. I've heard a lot of friends of mine say they're how they wind up feeling solo and like not being able to communicate with the people of their lives because of their partner and their partner being jealous. When I just heard one, shout out if you know who you are. I'm sure you're not gonna watch this, but said that his girlfriend approved of his family, of him spending time with them, but didn't like them. So she dropped him off at his grandparents' house and waited for 2 hours in the car in the driveway for him to be done.
damn, it's a little dumb, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But you know, it's how it goes sometimes. And I think your friend here might actually really like Up from the Bottom and feel some relation to that shit. Also, guys, quick fair warning: I'm actually the age of 21. I can drink beer and whatnot, so I got this Michelob here. Anheuser-Busch, hit me up. I'll sponsor you. But also, the main thing that we've been going after this entire time.
We should have brought the legendary out.
The legendary Seagrams. But nah. So Pepsi.
No, I meant the Babel.
Oh yeah, the Babel.
The Babel
Actually,
we found.
guys, wait till you see this.
That's right, we found it.
We found the Babel.
This shit hard as fuck to get in Rhode
We had to
Island.
go to another fucking state to get this fucking Babel, bro. So, it actually is pretty good. At least I like it. A couple people in our studio audience didn't really like it. That's
Big
alright
fan,
though.
on my end. Big
I'm
fan.
a pretty good fan of it. I like it. Although, I think there are ciders that are better, but Bush Light apple, pretty fucking good. Can't lie to you. If I were to find it somewhere, and I was feeling a little different, other than my Michelob Ultras and my Miller Lights and Miller High Lifes, then I would be like, yeah, sure. But yeah, Anheuser-Busch hit us up. We like Busch Light Apple. That shit's pretty good. And Michelob Ultra is also pretty good. That's made by you guys as well. So a lot of fucking shit's made by Anheuser-Busch, man. Bud Light, Budweiser, Michelob Ultra, Busch Light. There's a lot of fucking shit that's made by Anheuser-Busch. But moving on from that and back into Linkin Park. Yeah, overall, just a lot of resentment in this song. Oh, that was a fucking good crack, though. Oh! But yeah, I do really like the way Mike Shinoda complimented Emily here. I think that was like a high point for Mike throughout the entire song. Like, he didn't take the helm on this one. It felt really old Linkin Parky, where Mike was kind of just back here doing his own little thing while Chester was up there doing his thing. That's what I felt like this song was trying to. I mean, besides, obviously, we know from the whole album, Over Each Other was the only song that only featured Emily. But I think this was Linkin Park's experiment with seeing how they could put Emily forward and Mike back, rather than. I mean, I like that they're sharing a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's great because I'm a Mike Shinoda guy. I fucking love Mike Shinoda and anything he does. So
Well, the thing is, especially with groups, is that you want them all to bring out the best of each individual. So you want Shinoda, you want him in the front sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes, yes. They're trying to get that with Emily too here, where Mike can hold back a bit and let Emily take the stand, and then you got the blends between the 2
Mhm.
and that's what's really unique about groups and what they can and can't do, especially when with like 2 leads.
yeah, and I fucking love when people have 2 leads. I Prevail is another great band that has 2 leads. Same with From Ashes to New. So, excuse me. If you like that kind of production, which you probably should.
I mean, they're already like 12 minutes into our Linkin Park new song, and that's on three
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah.
So hopefully
we
you're
gotta-
interested in that type of group dynamic.
Yeah, so it's a really cool dynamic, and I do love that I do like the way Mike Shinoda kind of just took a back seat a little bit in the beginning. He becomes a little bit more prominent later, but then after that we get into our good old chorus where Emily's taking the front, Mike Shinoda's backing it up. You keep me waiting down here, so far below, staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom. I try escaping, but there's nowhere to go, staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom. So that's the first chorus, and it kind of in typical Linkin Park fashion. There's a build up to it, and then boom, you keep me waiting. That lovely stuff. Um, so I mean, from the chorus, I mean, it keeps going into that same old resentment thing, but I do like the instrumentals and how they actually are like reflecting that same emotion. I don't know if you picked it up when you were listening to it, but I picked up that the instrumentals match the emotion within this song. Did you pick that one up? Yeah.
Usually I'm in tune with the instrumental for it, and
Mhm.
yeah, I did notice that it tends to match, but I feel like a lot of Linkin Park tends to like going with them.
Mhm. Yeah. So I mean, the chorus is pretty good. I mean, staring up from the bottom, which is great because like you feel like you're way down there. You're looking up like, damn, I wish I could be up there where I can do more things and do all that. But here I'm stuck, and you're not really letting me up here. So I'm just staring up from the bottom at this point, and I don't really like it. And so I try escaping, but there's nowhere to go. Staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom. Fear of loneliness is what I get from this. Being afraid to be alone, because sometimes people are more afraid to be alone than and will suffice for a toxic ass relationship than be lonely. So that's what I got from it. I don't know. Hey, you got anything else?
From what I get with this is, to me, this song is a very progressive song in that it's taking a state of something from one to another. And to me, I see this as someone realizing the relationship they're in, realizing how messed up it is on their part, and eventually learning to move forward and try breaking out of that ceiling, breaking out of that containment, and trying to just find something better for themselves.
Yeah, and I think like to your point, I think this song is reflecting like a person realizing that, like, oh fuck, like I'm kind of fucked where I'm at right now, and I've let myself get fucked to this point. And so, with that in mind, we go into our second verse. Each time I hold my fist inside my pocket, hold my breath until I'm blue. Feels like a knife pushed deep inside a socket, bristling, listening to you. So, this one, I feel a lot of bottled up emotions here. And each time I hold my fist inside my pocket, not really wanting to do nothing, hold my breath until I'm blue. I don't feel like I can say nothing. I'm just fucking here, and I'm fucking dealing with it, and I'm not too happy about it. Because then she goes into, it feels like a nice push deep inside a socket, and it's like, this knife so far in me now, it's gonna, if I take it out of me, if for those of y'all that know, if you get impaled by anything, you have to keep the impalement object inside of you, or else you will bleed out. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening here. Like I feel like if I get this knife outside of whatever socket it's in, then I'm gonna die. So I don't really know what to do. And that's what I got from the second verse here.
What I really get from this is so if the first verse was them describing and realizing that where they are isn't where they want to be, and that they're actually being held down by their opposite in the relationship. This is what happens during that time. This is the bottled up emotions. This is the catalyst that's going to transform that person from being oppressed to being free.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is here. And this person, whomever they are, is starting to realize it, and they're starting to get this feeling where you start to bottle up, and you start to be like, all these little things that are annoying the fuck out of me. I can't deal with it anymore.
And the realization that you have been doing that also is like a knife twisted into a socket. It also causes pain. We realize, shit,
I did
I
this to
gave
me.
up so much for this relationship. I've stopped doing stuff. I started doing things I wouldn't do. And it's all because of the other person in the relationship. This isn't who I am. That is also a type of pain.
That is a type of pain. It's not like it's a unique type of pain though. It's like a really I'm really fucking mad at myself type of pain, like self-inflicted harm, my brother. And then you're realizing that you've been harming yourself this whole time, and that's even fucking worse. That's a worse feeling knowing that you've let yourself get to this point. And yeah, it's really fucking bad.
The music video for this is also a really great one.
It's really cool. It really doesn't reflect anything that we're saying. This is our interpretation of the song. It's kind of just a cool music video. But it doesn't really because I mean Linkin Park with their songs are always like, we know that songs can be interpreted in different ways, and we don't want to truly tell the meaning of a song, fearing that it takes away from your interpretation of it, because music's supposed to be what you think it is, and that's what Linkin Park has always stood by, and that's why you never really truly know the meanings of it, but you can kind of know where it's coming from based on your own experiences and whatnot.
Well, in this music video, especially at the start and whatnot, you can see through the glass ceiling. It breaks towards the end, right?
Yep.
That's freedom.
That is freedom.
That's
And
what I get from that part of it.
yeah, it's a really cool music video, and you totally should watch it and listen to the song. And obviously, after the second verse here, we go into the pre-chorus, waking up without a name, open up my eyes, knowing nothing's gonna change. Circling around a drain as I realize that there's no one else to blame. And then you keep me waiting down here, so far below, staring up from the bottom. Yeah, all the it was only gonna be a matter of time until I fucking start singing these songs. So I apologize in advance. Now we go into our bridge, which is this is where Mike Shinoda really starts to boom. It starts to take off. This is one of his better flows that he's had, that at least I've seen in recent history. I mean, he did really well on the entire From Zero album, but like this one especially was fucking crazy. Everybody out, that devil is coming, poison on his lips, and his words mean nothing. Cold like a mountaintop, father never loved him. Mama he's bad he's bad enough times that it's sunk in. Everybody out, that devil is coming. Promised to the world, but he always bluffing. Before you even knew it's a trap you're stuck in, he's already gone off like a ghost running. So, I think this describes the toxic partner. So,
Yep.
I think that's what this song is. So, I mean, I think Emily represents the victim, this hypothetical relationship we're thinking of, and Mike it just described this toxic person that's been doing this shit to Emily. So it's pretty apparent in there. Everybody out, that devil is coming. Poison on his lips, and his words mean nothing. How about that line? That's a pretty fucking crazy one, isn't it? I'm just seeing like this dude's just a liar, and they use the anomaly of poison on his lips, and his words mean nothing. So like saying all these things to the victim, and like probably all the good stuff too, like I love you, I'm never gonna leave you, and shit like that.
Yeah,
But
I can't say that I put it better than he did
yeah,
in that regards, because the thing is that when they're in the what was the term I was using? When they're in the oppressed part of the relationship, it is because the oppressor has made them feel either they can't do better, they're doing them a kindness by being with them,
mm-hmm.
they should be thankful to them, and should make it a point to put the other one down. But in actuality, none of that is real. That's why they mean nothing. That's why it's poison, because it's bringing the oppressed down in that relationship, and it's also all a bluff. It's all lies. It's just how one controls the other.
Mm-hmm. And then we go into cold like a mountaintop, father never loved him. We all know if the person comes from a fucked up house, man, they're not going to make the greatest partners in the world. Unless they do the work themselves. But a lot of people don't do the work themselves to, try to stop those kinds of curses and whatnot. Fix themselves, become better than what they were given. And unfortunately, sounds like this person never did that. So, it said cold like a mountaintop. So the dude's cold. He's probably pretty fruitless when it comes to this relationship, giving you a whole lot of nothing but saying a whole lot of something. The term love bombing comes to mind here when I'm thinking about this. You guys have ever heard that term, love bombing? In psychology, it's when somebody like within the beginning stages of the relationship will just dump all this love onto you, make you feel like the most special thing in the world. Then as soon as you get in a little bit more comfortable, then they just pull back, and they usually use it as a way to manipulate someone. So the theory of love bombing is what I get from this. So Mama said he's bad enough times that it's sunk in. So like, then again, it said his mom said it's bad enough times that he's gone through a lot to the point that it is sunken in and it's a part of him now. He can't fucking fix it. And said everybody out, that devil is coming. Promise you the world, but he's always bluffing. That goes back to my love bombing. And then before you even know it's a trap you're stuck in, he's gone like a ghost already off running. So as soon as he gets you underneath his underneath his fist, gets you under his control or her control for that matter, and then as soon as that happens, then all of a sudden you're like attached to him. You're like, yeah, it's gonna work somehow. And then you fall in love with the idea of the relationship, and then before you realize that's the trap you're stuck in, he's gone like a ghost already off running, to go and fuck somebody else's life up. So, what you think about this? The ending, the second part there, Ant?
Well, I think it was expressed pretty well in the way that I'm viewing this as a controller versus the controllee. And the thing is that once the person gets what they want, then they're free to move on. This is an unhealthy relationship where someone has complete control over someone, and unfortunately, with something like that, with the line before "Father never loved him," finally sunk in, it's a way for the oppressor, to protect themselves from not feeling the love like a father leaving or something like that from a broken home. Because now that they have it, they do whatever they can to keep it.
And then they'll use that as their out every single time, or their reason for being the way they are. That's what they'll use every time. Instead of ponying up, grabbing themselves up by the bootstraps, and fixing themselves real quick. But unfortunately, not everybody, excuse me, has that type of determination, that type of emotional intelligence, so they'll just hold on to that, and then they're just gonna go the rest of their life about that. You know, playing victim and whatnot. Like, oh, the only reason why I'm like this because because my father left, or only reason why I'm doing this because my mom beat me, or something like that. I'm like, so that happened when you were a child. You're an adult now who can make adult decisions. You know.
It is very hard for some people to not let the past control them.
Yeah. Yeah, not everybody can let go, and that's that I feel as though this oppressor has been a victim of. And isn't it worth noting, as from the instrumental perspective, when Mike Shinoda does this bridge, the fucking sound, like the vocals, they go like lower, so it kind of does make it sound like it's like it's on Demon Time. You know what I mean? He kind of sounds like really threatening, and it's really harsh, really hard hitting. And there's like electronic sounds that are like complementing it, that are like really dark and devilly sounding, if you will. So that's worth noting, because this song from a production standpoint is really fucking cool. and I figure I wanted to mention that that bridge sounds like it's set at like a deeper octave than Mike Shinoda usually does. And then we end with a pre-chorus, keep me waiting down here so far below, staring up from the bottom, and that usually is really slow. It'd be like, you keep me waiting down here so far below, staring up from the bottom, then up from the bottom, you know? And I like that, and then of course we end with one chorus, try escaping, but there's nowhere to go, staring up from the bottom, gotta get out of here, up from the bottom, gotta get out of here, close. And this is the person realizing finally, I'm fucked. I need to get the hell out of here. Hence the gotta get out of here. And yeah, then the fucking story concludes, and the song concludes. It's a really good song. I think it belongs in a fucking movie trailer somewhere. Just off the sound of it, what do you think, Ant?
That's a lot of the reason why I was talking like I was there, because at the end of this song, it's not that it's been resolved, it's that the direction that the oppressed has to take is clear to them, and then you're meant to come to your own realization about how they would go about doing it and how to get out of that shitty situation that they're in.
Now, moving on to our second song, which I think is kind of a continuation of Up From the Bottom, Unshatter. I mean, you gotta think of like the structure. I gotta just say right now, out of all the new deluxe edition songs, Unshatter is my favorite. Out of all of them, Up From the Bottom's great. Let You Fade's pretty good, but we'll go over Let You Fade in a minute. But Unshatter, it's just so good. It's so fucking good, and I'm a fucking sucker for this type of song. It sounds a little bit more like a classic Linkin Parky kind of song. You know, like the stuff you expect to hear from a Linkin Park song. You know, the heavy guitars at the beginning, the distorted sounding at the beginning, and then you go into some heavy instrumentals. You got Mike rapping. You've got Emily doing the screams. You know, it's classic Linkin Park formula. Would you say, Ant?
Yeah. This song also, for me, is my favorite from the three that were in the deluxe one. This followed by Up on the Bottom, and then I'll Let You Fade.
Yeah, so let's talk about Unshatter. We get the intro with distorted sounding Emily in the background singing, "We'll never ever put it back together. Should've known better, you were lying." That's why I'm saying, I think Up From the Bottom is the prequel to Unshatter, which is the sequel. Because if there's one theme that I can get through this entire this entire song, is it's a continuation of Up From the Bottom. This is the oppressed person breaking and getting away from all that. Now, Let You Fade doesn't really tie into it at all. That's a little bit of a different song, but I think Up From the Bottom and Unshattered tell the same story. I don't know what you feel about that.
Honestly, I listened to them separately, so I never listened to them one after the other.
Hmm.
But I'll give it a go. I'll get back to you.
Yeah, I guess that's what I feel. I feel like Up From the Bottom and Unshattered tell the same story. And as we do this lyrical breakdown, you might start to see where
Yeah,
I'm
I
coming
can
from.
definitely see it
Hmm.
because like I said, I liked Unshattered more than I liked Up from the Bottom. And while I think the story itself is applicable,
Hmm.
I think they also didn't want it to be like specific.
Yeah.
Because this song can relate to just anyone rather than just someone who was in an oppressed relationship.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why we have the beauty of interpretation. But yeah, Unshatter's got those deep guitars. It's got the Emily screaming. We got Mike rapping in the first verse. Said maybe I made it more complicated than it had to be. God damn it! Now I'm gonna start saying it like the song says it. Maybe I made it more complicated than it had to be. Maybe I'm mistaken, but it's taken something out of me. Maybe I'm too patient because I waited until now to see. Take what you say and ruminate away reality. So that's a pretty hefty verse, can't lie. Mike Shinoda gave us the good old 1-2 and dipped, pretty much. So let's see. So maybe I made it more complicated than it had to be. Maybe I'm mistaken, but it's taking something out of me. So maybe I overthought this a little bit. Maybe I overthought this thing a little bit. Maybe I thought that it was gonna get better eventually with this person, because I'm gonna go off of that narrative right now. I'm taking that angle.
Yep.
Maybe I thought it was gonna get better with this person, but I was mistaken but it's taken something out of me. So like I'm hurting here. I've been dealing with this. I thought it was different, and maybe I thought it was more of a complex thing. I thought we'd all come together, kumbaya, and have the perfect relationship. But then this motherfucker decided to keep doing what he's doing, or doing what she's doing. Whomever the oppressor is, it can be a man or a woman, obviously. But and it said maybe I'm mistaken because I'm taking something out of me. I'm losing something. Maybe I'm too patient because I waited until now to see. That just goes into that whole like, oh fuck, I'm super fucking naive. Why the hell did I think this dude was gonna change? I should have seen the signs as soon as it was done. When did I think this girl was gonna change? When did I think this guy was gonna change? Whatever the fuck it may be. I was too patient, waiting on them to come around. But then now I've only waited until now to see that. Take what you say, and I'll ruminate away reality. So that last verse there, take what you say, and I'll ruminate away reality. I don't really know what the word ruminate means. I'm gonna be so real with you. So we're gonna do a quick Google search and see what ruminate means. Um, but Ant, what do you think about that first verse?
Well, in my eyes, this song is a lot more about shattering the perception that people place upon you, which obviously could be put in terms of a relationship that's sour.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just about, for me, the expectations that are put on you that you don't let control how you act. That's why they're unshattered. You're not breaking them.
Yeah,
They're gonna.
precise and clear statement that explains the meaning of a word, phrase, concept, or term. It typically outlines the essential qualities and characteristics of the thing being defined, allowing for clear understanding and differentiation of other things. So it's, you know, putting two and two together is what I'm getting out of this. I'll ruminate away reality. So I've been living in this falsehood for this long, and now I'm starting to discover what it's actually looking like, and I don't fucking like it. Type deal. Then we get our pre-chorus coming up. Mike Shinoda and Emily Armstrong here, but we'll never ever put it back together. Should've known better, you were lying. And then Emily comes in, big guitars start, the drums start going, and it says, unshatter the picture I was trying to see myself in, unshatter the promise that I couldn't help believe. I don't know how it got so cold, but my chest is a hole and the whole world fell in. Unshatter me. So, let's see. Let's take the pre chorus here. Never ever put it back together. Should have known better. You're lying. What you getting out of that one?
So, the way that it was said in this, especially with the roommate lines before and whatnot, it does seem a lot like it's about that relationship. But up ahead when it says the world, that world line there,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I think more so than just the specific relationship, it's just an overall. This is what you think of me, but I'm not gonna let that control me.
Yeah. And then it says, unshatter the picture I was trying to see myself in. Unshatter that whole mold that I was trying to fit in. Because fuck y'all. Type deal.
Yep, you're never gonna please everyone.
Yeah. And then it said, unshatter the promise that I couldn't help believe. You promised me all this shit, but you never fucking followed through. So get me the hell out of here. I couldn't help believe it. You held it over me for so damn long. You can even put that in the context of the relationship.
Yep.
The promise that you were going to be there for me. You were going to be this type of long-term partner and whatnot, maybe even lifetime if it's that good. And unshatter that promise that I tried to that you gave to me that was just an empty promise. And I'm fucking sick of it. So I'm out type deal. And it says, don't know how it got so cold. My chest is a hole and the whole world fell in. Unshatter me. Alright, don't know how it got so cold. Don't know how it got here. Don't know where it's coming from, but it's here, and I don't, and I'm kind of sick of it. That's what I'm getting from this.
That term, when he uses cold there, it kind of like, to me, means unfeeling to the world.
Yeah, like just fucking cold. You're cold. You're stone faced. You know. You don't give a fuck. You out here just fucking walking about everything. Somebody cussing you out in the background. You're like, yeah, sure, buddy. Have a great day. Type deal. You're just sitting there at the bar while somebody yells at you. You're just like, you done yet? I'm getting from that as well. And then my chest is a hole and the whole world fell in. Now this line, it's a unique one. I'm like, this is a different way of expressing yourself. Chest is a whole world fell in. Maybe you're thinking that you got all this weight on your chest. Your chest is a hole. Then that weight's falling through it, and then it's just gone. And then he said, unshatter me, unshatter this version of me that you saw, unshatter this relationship that I'm fucking done with type deal. You can put it in both the context, an individual and romantic type deal here. Now, how you feeling about the rest of the chorus there, Ant?
So, the part about the relationship, the part about the world falling into the hole of the chest, I think of that more so as the situation you're in, the spot you're in the world, how it makes you feel inside, and how to go about not being defined by it.
Yeah.
Because you're not letting it affect you.
Mm-hmm.
You're finally getting free of these chains and restraints that were put on you.
Yeah. And that's a good way of looking at it, actually. I never really thought of it that way. I kind of always envisioned it like have all this weight, and then all of a sudden your chest becomes a void and it just falls through and you're fine. But that it could be that too. Like all of a sudden, like I'm so susceptible to all this criticism from the world, and it's been weighing me down all this time. And now I'm like, fuck this shit, unshatter me, and then move on. Then we go into our verse 2 here. Mike Shinoda back on the rapping chops. Got some crispy drum beats in the background. Said I was waiting patiently, safe in judgment for too long. When the hesitation would set the stage that I'd lose on. You were only aiming to pass the blame and move on. You turned the tables and made my right into a new wrong. So this is a great verse. I like this one more than the first verse. But I was waiting patiently, saving judgment for too long. I was waiting. I was hoping you'd come through, or I was hoping that this pressure would stop, saving my judgments, just not really saying nothing, just going about the motions. But but when the hesitation but when I hesitated every time to say what was on my mind, it would set the stage that I'd lose on. You know, like all of a sudden I didn't know it was gonna come down to this, but it came down to this, and I did it myself. Goes back to that self realization that you got and up from the bottom towards the end there. I think it kind of gets a little relayed here. You were only aiming to pass the blame and then move on. So just all of a sudden, like aiming to pass the blame and then move on. I mean, that just kind of speaks for itself. I mean, this person, this society, or whatever is, what's the word? Whatever's negatively affecting you, it's just aiming to pass the blame onto me and then just move on. Like I did the you made me do this type deal. Like society's like this because you didn't do that, or this relationship's like this because you don't do this. That's what I'm getting from it. And then and it's all your fault. It's not mine. And then I move on, go and fuck somebody else's life up. Yeah. And then it said, just turned the tables and made my right into a new wrong. I thought I was doing the right thing for so long. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was committing to you. I thought I was doing everything that you wanted me to do. That could be in a relationship context or just a world context. I was doing everything that I was told to do when I was little. I tried and I tried and I tried, but then you turned the tables on me and turned what I thought was right into a new wrong. You know what? I don't fucking like that. That's what I'm getting from this. And what are you getting from it?
A lot to unpack in this one.
It's a big verse. It's a big verse.
So, the part about hesitating and waiting, the more you wait, the worse it's gonna get.
Yep.
And it's a horrible saying that I saw at a hard hat somewhere, but it gets worse before it gets worse.
I mean, it's facts. It gets worse before it gets worse.
But what this describes to me is that you're hoping for something to change, but you're going through the same thing, you're doing the same thing, and that's the definition of insanity, as we all know.
Yes.
And the part about you were just trying to pass the blame onto me, that kind of takes me out of the relationship aspect of it, because usually they don't want to move on, they want to control for as long as possible.
Keep the puppet strings going.
So, to me, that's more of everyone else, because I'm sorry to say it, as people, everyone wants to criticize, no one wants to get criticized.
Factual information.
Everyone is trying to pass the buck and the blame onto someone else or something else so that they feel better in themselves and then move on. So this is just
ego feeding.
This is just people trashing on you for no reason but to make themselves feel better. And the climb out from that, like from here to there, is what I get from this.
All right, then we go into our. I mean, that's a pretty good breakdown of it. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's true. Everybody's only in it to feed their egos, and especially social media and everything being a thing, it only made it worse. My humble opinion. So I mean, yeah. So that analysis is pretty good. And
Yeah, I'm a very simple guy. At MySpace, everyone went to Facebook, and then I stopped.
Yep.
Yeah, none of that Instagram, Twitter, whatever, Snapchat, none of that.
Snapchat's a fucking weird place, man. I'll be so real. Twitter is also just a strange place. But yeah, so we go into our pre-chorus again. We'll never ever put it back together. Should've known better, you were lying. And then we go back to our chorus. Same thing, and we got our bridge here. Instrumentals go down after the last unshatter me in the chorus. She holds that me for a while. It's like, man, and then the fucking song kind of cuts for a second. Then you just start to hear Emily just starting to build up. And we all know when Emily starts whispering, you gotta fucking brace yourself, because something's gonna fucking happen. So, starts whispering, you don't know me, you don't know me, I don't owe you anything, go. You don't know me. And it gets progressively louder. After that go, it gets a little bit louder. I don't owe you anything. Go. You don't know me. You don't know me. I don't owe you. Then it's our breakdown time. Then it's big ass scream. And then just snapping. I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you anything. Go. You don't know me. You don't know me. I don't owe you anything. Go. You don't know me. You don't know me. I don't owe you. Then we go back into our pre-chorus, and the chorus shuts it out, and that's the end of the song. But that breakdown is just somebody fucking losing their shit. That's what I'm saying. We all know, like I mentioned, when when fucking Emily decides to start whispering, I'm already like, oh shit, something's going down. And then I just get ready, and I'm getting ready for the angriest of screams to come out of her mouth. And then that's exactly what happened. This is the person breaking. You don't know me. You don't know me. This is me. This is who I am. You don't know that shit. I don't owe you shit type deal. You can put this in the I starting to see your society aspect here. And you're speaking to a whole collective now. Like you don't know me. You don't know how I am. Why are you always first to criticize me? I don't owe you anything. When the fuck did I ever owe you anything? I'm just supposed to do me. And I mean, I kind of just speaks for itself. I'm being honest. I think it's just this person finally fucking losing their shit and just saying, I'm fucking out, you know? But that's what I'm getting from this. And then obviously the ending's really nice. Closes out like a typical Linkin Park song. And then we on to the next one. What you thinking here?
So for this one, I want to draw attention to the phrase they're using, unshatter me. Now, if something is shatter, then it is broken.
Mm-hmm.
So they are putting themselves together. So I can actually see this in both lights. And so what I'm going to say here is that this person is the oppressed one from the last one. They are finally breaking free. But keep in mind, when this type of unhealthy relationship exists, it is not just the oppressed it's not just the oppressor that is the root cause of it. Because eventually it winds up that your whole life revolves around this. So this is someone who's recognized how bad the situation is, who's waited, who hasn't seen the change that they wanted, who is just taking the blame from probably the oppressor and all the oppressor's friend and the oppressor's family and whatnot. Because that's the type of draw that, nice crack by the way, that is drawn to this character. And so this is them breaking free and unshattering themselves and putting themselves back together from the relationship, from the social life that they're stuck in, from the rinse, wash, repeat that they've been in for however long they've been in it. And this is just them pulling themselves together and finally breaking free.
Yeah, and that's on Shatter, guys. Good analysis on that. I mean, I like what you're saying. Didn't see it. Didn't see it. Didn't see it. Was waiting. Was waiting. Was waiting. Then all of a sudden, fuck you, type deal. I mean, that's exactly what the song is. A big fuck you. And then I'm gonna go do me now. But yeah, Unshatter. This is such a great song, guys. I fucking love it. And I think it would go absolutely nuts live. I'm gonna be so real. I think I'm gonna go see Linkin Park in the summer, August 1st to be specific. If you guys are in the Boston area, hit up your boy on August 1st. I'll be there. But I don't think we're that big yet. But you know, we got about 40 subscribers, guys. But we love all 40 of you. So,
They're probably locals.
yeah, they probably are. To be honest. Yeah, I think there's like I don't know the exact number, but it's like 40 plus. So I love all 40 plus of you. Good job. Thank you for the support. But you know, I really hope they do this one live. I really do. Because I feel like it's gonna go fucking crazy. Imagine the energy that's gonna come off of Mike and when he's rapping, and then the fucking scream. How it's gonna make that fucking mosh pit start going. Especially on that fucking breakdown there. But yeah, I think out of all the songs, this one's probably gonna hit the fucking hardest live. I'm gonna be so real.
Oh yeah, all these latest two that came out, this is gonna give the biggest pop.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I mean, even the fucking guitars, the like I fucking love that shit, and it's all like they're all like drop power chords, and it's like I don't know if it's a drop D specifically. Any music theory people, let me know what type of chord that is at the beginning of at the beginning of Unshatter, please. I think it's a drop D chord, but it's a really fucking good one, and I think this one's gonna go fucking nuts live. I mean, Up from the Bottom, I think would be a good sing along, kind of like In the End or Numb. Yeah, since it's pretty easy to sing, you don't have to fry your vocals. So I mean, but I think this one's gonna have the most energy packed into it. But out of everything on the new album, I think the one that has the most energy is probably Two Face. To be honest, I think Two Face gonna fucking hit like fucking nobody's business. It's gonna hit harder than 10 drunk stepdads. That's what it's gonna fucking hit like. So I mean, I think it's gonna be I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that they do Unshatter when I go and see them later on this year. I know they've already done Up from the Bottom. They've already done Let You Fade. You're just missing one, guys. But speaking of Let You Fade, let's talk about Let You Fade. This song is sad as shit, and it made me very very sad when I was listening to it, and I'll explain why in just a minute. So Let You Fade is the final one. It's a good closer for sure. And I mean, Good Things Go was already like a really good closer to the album with Good Things Go. But this one, since you know you had the deluxe edition with the 3 extra songs, this is also a pretty damn good closer for Let You Fade. You know. So Mike takes the lead in this song more than Emily, even though it's mostly been Emily to this point. So Mike took the lead for this, and it makes me think of a couple different things as far as my context is concerned. But before we go into how I see the entire song, let's just say it's very melodic. It's very soft. It does pick up a little bit towards the end. It reminds me a lot of like an iridescent type song.
Yeah.
You know, like it starts off real slow, then it kind of just slowly accelerates, and then ends on a pretty big high note. but enough for it to not be like I'm ready for the next song, but enough for it to be like, all right, this song, this album's done, you know. So Let You Fade, I actually really do like this song, despite it being my least favorite on like. I don't like using the word least favorite, but like if we had to talk like that,
It'll be his last play.
it'll be my lesser played out of the three that were released. But if I'm in a mood though, if I'm in a certain mood, you in the feels or something one night, Let You Fade's definitely gonna hit. But anyway, verse 1 says, I'm supposed to be running. I'm just catching my breath. Saying congratulations, terrified of what's next. Everything is exploded. 20 hours, no sleep. 3 o'clock in the morning, lying there in the street. So, sets pretty glummy stage here, to be honest. And Mike Shinoda's, he's singing. He's singing in his normal singing voice. He's not rapping. Nothing like that. He's just singing. I'm supposed to be running, just catching my breath. Saying congratulations, terrified of what's next. I think a lot about like, I mean, obviously, there's a deeper meaning to this song than what I'm going to say right now, but that makes me feel eh, like a, like how a college graduate feels after they're done with college. Since I am going to be graduating this time next year from college,
Graduate class of 2028.
yep, and although I do think that, I'm supposed to be running, just catching my breath, saying congratulations, but terrified of what's next. That kind of just says it right there. Like everybody's saying congratulations to me. Thank God you got this thing going again. And now I got to think about it in Mike's shoes. Now I got to go into I got to go into Mike's brain real quick. I use some empathy, a little bit of emotional intelligence here. I'll be like, I'm supposed to be running. I'm just catching my breath. So he's like, to me that tells me that Mike's just trying to go through everything, just keep moving, but he's just stuck here. He's trying to catch his breath because he's a little tired. They're saying congratulations, but terrified of what's next. Now, I take this in the context of the comeback, to be honest with you, with Linkin Park coming back. I mean, they're saying congratulations. Look, you got the band going again. You got a great new singer. Your guys are back to touring. You're back to making money. You're back to making music. Stuff like that. But I'm still terrified of what's coming next. I see a lot of uncertainty in Mike here, and then we go into the second verse at the second half of this verse right after you got something. What you got, Ant?
No, I just wanted to check something.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, what this verse is really good at is a transition between something that you had been doing to something that is in store for your future. And they say you're supposed to be running because you're supposed to like actively seek that out to move your life forward. But what happens with that a lot of the time too is that you get scared. You're not sure what to do. You're unsure. You don't want to make a misstep. So that would be the why you're so scared or terrified of running forward because you're tired.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got from this.
Yeah, but that's a good little announcement right there. It said everything exploded. 20 hours no sleep. 3 o'clock in the morning, lying there in the street. I think that kind of just ponies off of what was said before. But said everything exploded, and I'm going back to thinking about the comeback. Everything did explode when they came back, for better or for worse. You know what I mean? A lot of hate, but there was also a lot of love. Everything exploded. 20 hours no sleep. I would expect Mike Shinoda to not be getting a ton of sleep after bringing back the band and seeing both the good comments, all the good comments. Like, yeah, this is great. Then you got all the hate comments that are like, "Oh, you bastard! You replaced Chester," stuff like that.
How could you?
How could you? And then he probably feels like a piece of shit because he's just trying to, keep doing what he's been doing. But then, like, he's like, oh, shit. Maybe it's not so great. So then you get 20 hours of sleep thinking about all that. You think about the good, you think about the bad. 3 o'clock in the morning, lying there in the street, you're kind of helpless. You're like, damn, laying on a park bench somewhere. You're like, this kind of sucks. I don't know what to fucking do. I don't know if I made the right move or not. To be honest, I really do think about, like, with this whole song, I do think about the comeback a lot, and how they might have felt. Because also, fun fact about all the deluxe edition stuff, all of this stuff up from the bottom, Unshatter, Let You Fade, all recorded after the release of From Zero. It was not preloaded. They recorded all of this after From Zero was released. So while they were on the road, they had a bus studio. They recorded these songs like after the comeback. So I'm assuming they like took most of November, December to kind of and majority of December to kind of be like, all right, let's chill. Then those quiet months, where they weren't really doing a whole lot, January, February, they were like, all right, let's regroup here. Let's write some new stuff and let's make it a continuation of From Zero. So that's a big thing to note here. That's why I think about like the like trying to get from Mike's perspective with the whole Linkin Park comeback thing. But yeah, what are you getting from that second half of the verse?
So the thing that I'm sure of is that you can never be sure of life.
No.
And I get that from, 3 a.m. being in the middle of the street because you're not sure what to do with yourself at that point. And that's what I'm feeling from this.
Like you're stuck. You're like, what the fuck? I don't know where to
You
go
just
from
don't know
here.
where to go. Here, there.
I can go down that street. I can go into that park.
Shit ton of options.
Yeah, I can go into this hotel. I can go into that restaurant. You know, stuff like that. Also, guys, we got the baffle. We got the baffle.
Yeah, just pull the lyrics up so I can read along with you.
Yeah. Then we go into our pre-chorus, breaking our backs for a pile of sand, just to have it falling out of our hands. Maybe it all gets lost in the end, but and then we're gonna go into the chorus after that. And then the chorus is Emily and Mike now. I'll remember you no matter where our ways may take us. And even when the memories slip away, time will test you and I won't let you fade. Alright, guys, I think Chester. I'm so real here. I think Chester with this entire chorus and the entire song in general. I think it's like Mike's complicated emotions with the comeback. Yes, everything looked all great when Emily came back. There was people loving her. There was people hating her. So there's a lot going on here. You know, a fuck ton of shit. But I'm saying breaking our backs for a pile of sand. So it's like we're doing all this shit and we're not really getting out a lot out of it. Is what I'm saying. You know. So Mike's like probably like a little unsure. I would say. Well, I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty in this song, but there is one certainty, and that is that he won't let this person fade, you know? And I'm thinking this person is Chester Bennington, to be so real with you. I mean, Mike hasn't deliberately said it. People have asked him if the song's about Chester, but then again, he goes back to what Linkin Park has always said when it comes to their songs. It's not about what we think it is. It's about what you think it is. But I'm pretty sure a lot of us Linkin Park fans are probably thinking of Chester Bennington listening to this song. I sure as hell was when I was listening to it the first time. So he's like, breaking our backs for a pile of sand. We're not getting a lot out of this, but we're still going. Just to have it falling out of our hands. I think that addresses the hate. To be honest, like you probably feel like when all those hate comments came out with how dare you replace Chester? Oh, this isn't Linkin Park anymore. Should have renamed the band. Stuff like that. I think it made probably probably Mike especially. Maybe not so much Emily. To be honest, I don't think Emily was affected too much by this whole thing.
She got critical acclaim and success.
I mean,
critical hatred too, but I mean,
critical hatred too. But to be honest, I think this is more Mike since it's his band. He was like, just have it all falling out of our hands. I think like I might, maybe I didn't make the right move here. Maybe it's something that I shouldn't continue with, something like that. But I'm still gonna keep going. Hence the breaking our backs for a pile of sand type deal. And then it said, I'll remember you no matter where our ways may take us. And even when the memories slip away, time will test you. I won't let you fade. I'm thinking that's just Mike talking to Chester. You know, like, look, no matter what happens, I know we have this new singer now. We're back on the road. We have all this new music, but I'm never going to forget you. You were still my bandmate for 20 plus years. You died tragically. And no matter where our ways may take us, like no matter like where this new version of the band goes, no matter where what happens to it, if it stays, if it goes, yeah, even when the memories slip away, time will test you. No matter what happens, your legacy isn't stoned, Mr. Bennington. Time will test you. People are always going to remember you, and I won't let you fade. Which I think that is Mike Shinoda taking up the torch, saying, "I'm not going to let this band die with him. I'm going to use this as a way to move Linkin Park forward and fulfill Chester's legacy, rather than let it die out with him." and that's been my entire. This is cutting a little bit outside the song now, but I think that's been my entire like mentality towards this entire like Linkin Park comeback. I don't see it as doing a disservice to Chester Bennington. Like when Emily's up there singing in the end, or Emily's up there singing "Numb" or "Faint," all those classic Linkin Park tracks. I don't see that as tarnishing Chester's legacy. I see it as not letting it die. I'm seeing it as it's being carried on. So like there's going to be kids that are born that aren't that might like there are kids that are probably even getting into the band now. I was getting into the band around 10 years old. And say there's a 10-year-old out there that saw this Linkin Park band and said, "Hey, let's check them out." They might not know who Chester Bennington is because Chester died, guys. It's 7 years ago now, so I mean, almost 8. And uh, if there's a 10-year-old child or a 12-year-old child that's getting into Linkin Park for the first time, like I was, then they might not know. you know, maybe the parents told them, but you never know. So I think this is. I always see Emily singing those songs as like not disservicing Chester, but not a disservice, but continuing on what he left, continuing on those words that he sang. And that's what I'm getting with the chorus here. I'm thinking Chester all the way.
So, I just read through all the Genius lyrics,
Mhm.
refresh my mind on this. And I'm a huge fan of double entendres.
Mhm.
You know me, I love my rap and whatnot.
Hell yeah.
And this can definitely be seen that way. But actually, to your point for up from the bottom, this is also a response to that relationship.
Mhm.
It to me seems like so the first congratulations running, you're getting out of there. Obviously you got out of that relationship. 3 a.m. you don't know what to do. You're not sure where to go from there. And from what I just read and whatnot on Genius, I'm also getting the feeling that you everyone any type of meaningful relationship will affect the person indefinitely. They're going to judge their relationship later on in life based on it, make decisions based on it, and choices based on it.
Facts.
So that one of the meanings of this is from that relationship, the good and the bad you take from it, you put that forward and you don't that memory never fades because you got changed that way because of this. Because
I got better since you got gone.
yeah,
Type deal.
and you're not gonna let them, push away your friends and whatnot. You're not gonna let them wait 2 hours outside your grandmother's house,
Wait 2 hours outside your grandma's house, something like that. So.
And this is a lot on the success. I'm gonna call it the critical success of the band coming back because now they got the raging popularity. They're touring again. They're making new
Relevant again.
music. They're making new music. They're getting new fans. They gotta appeal to a new generation. They got different media outlets that they gotta appeal to. Let's say, I don't know, me and you, for example, we do TikToks to help promote when we're putting out things.
Mhm.
They gotta take these things into account too. So you're unsure where to move in the world right now that's gonna be best for you. I get that from the 3
3 a.m.
3 a.m.
later.
laying on the street part
Mhm.
2. And then you've also got the not letting you fade because, just like I said before, any relationship that has any meaningful impact on your life, you go forward with and you use that the rest of your life. This is also talking about how Chester affected the
The entire
band
band.
and how to move forward from this in order to appeal to as many of the hardcore fans as the new fans, because you want to have that connection with people no matter what you do, and you want to keep and cherish that connection because whereas some people don't care for their fan base, that's not who we're dealing with here. These guys care extensively about them,
Mhm.
which is why they took so long to pick their new lead singer and why they're moving the way they're moving.
It took them 7 years, man. That was almost a decade. There was no Linkin Park. So, to your point, that's extremely correct. But what else were you gonna say?
That's what I got from this part.
Oh,
we're still.
we still got a whole.
Yeah.
We got a whole another verse to go through. We got a bridge to go
I'm gonna
through.
crack this open.
So we got a little bit. We got a little ways to go here. Yeah, that was nice. That was a hard crack. That was a good one.
It still got more.
Anyway, going into our second verse now. This is supposed to feel different, but why do I feel the same? Trying to get with the rhythm, I'm all over the place. And the faces in my head say that wait, hold on. And the faces in my head say that what was next might just be the last. We don't want to admit we're never going back, revisiting the distance from present to past. And don't know how we went from where we were to where we were to where we're at. So, more Mike Shinoda uncertainty, to be sure. And I can almost imagine, like, obviously I'm taking the Chester Memorial angle here, but I can almost guarantee you he feels that way. Like, Jesus Christ, I fucking made it work, but damn, what am I gonna do now? Is the band ever gonna like be the same? And I think that's what he's saying. He said, "Is this is supposed to feel different, but why do I feel the same?" Like, I got a new. This could be more of a positive aspect, to be honest with you, as far as the whole Linkin Park comeback angle is concerned. This is supposed to feel different, but why do I feel the same? Like, taking some time now. You take a couple ways. Like, is this supposed to feel different because I have 2 new band members? You know, but I still feel the same. I still want to put out the music, but it can also be taken as, although I'm happy that the band is now back and we're all right. I feel I'm supposed to feel differently. I'm supposed to feel happy, like I'm moving on and doing all this healing and shit, but why do I still feel the same? Why am I still upset that you're gone? Because to be honest, if you have a loss like that, man, especially somebody that you spent pretty much almost every waking moment with, I would assume, and we're always in touch with, just all of this isn't there anymore. And it's like, why do I still feel the same? Why do I still feel sad? Why do I still feel this grief? Even though we're back, we're making this money, we're headlining festivals. We just did the fucking feature performance at the League of Legends tournament. Like, what the fuck? Why do I still feel like I'm still stuck in that 2017 mindset after Chester Bennington died? You can take 2 angles from that, but you can take the happy one, or you can take the sad one. And it said, trying to get with the rhythm, but I'm all over the place. Still trying to sort yourself out after something like that is for sure hard. Like, I got this. I'm trying to get with this rhythm. I'm trying to stick to this new band formula that we have, but I'm all over the place. I'm still jumping back to Chester. I'm still jumping back to how the band was. Is it even gonna ever be the same? You know, stuff like that. I feel that within this verse here. And what you getting on this first half of verse 2.
Well, like I said, I feel like so. If up from the bottom was them realizing the situation they're in, and Unshatter was them finally breaking free from the controls put on them, then I feel like Let You Fade is the epilogue. It's the aftermath. It's how you move after the relationship has ended. So for me, with this part, it's a lot of what I had said before, where okay, this is how it was. I felt like this. You don't change your feelings that quickly.
No. Oh,
Like,
hell no.
if you're in a shitty relationship and you get out of it, you're not going to feel too much different at the start of that. You have to keep taking a step forward and forward and forward. And that applies to every situation, including with the band moving forward. Because it takes a while for a mindset to change.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like this song in particular is a great way to express how someone feels when they're trying to take their steps towards the future.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way of looking at it. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can look at songs. I see why Mike Shinoda didn't give a clear meaning to this song. Because if you're looking at it from the relationship perspective, you can for sure see that here. But then we go into our second part of the chorus here. And the faces in my head say that what was next might just be the last. We don't want to admit that we are never going back. Revisiting the distance from the present to the past, and don't know how we went from where we were to where we're at. I mean, I keep saying it. It's true. A lot of uncertainty for Mike. You know, he doesn't know what's going on. Like, faces in my head say that what was next might just be the last. Like, this is it. Going from back to the band's perspective. Like, this is it. Like, we're here. This is the last shot that I got. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Mike Shinoda is pushing 50. he's, uh, he's at the tail end of his career being a musician. And he's like, this is my last shot. Faces in my head say that what was next might just be the last. Like, this is it for me, type deal. And he goes, we don't want to admit that we're never going back. Because, unfortunately, I mean, Chester ain't here no more. You know? You can't go back to the way it was. So you have to live like this. So he's, like, listening to, like, the logical side of his head, saying, if you want your band to continue, if you want to keep making a living, providing for your family and whatnot, you have to do this. This is your last shot. You have to take it from here. You know? But he goes, I don't want to admit it, but I can't go back. But hate to break it to you, Mike, as the left brain speaking to him, you can't go back. Like, you can't bring back Chester. This is what you have to do. I can see how that can be complicated for Mike, you know, because, like, to be honest, I mean, even though, like, he moved on with the band and whatnot, do you think he really forgot about Chester? I don't think he fucking did. That's for fucking sure. Do you think he had doubts about even bringing Emily into the Linkin Park? Oh my god, he did. Like, but he said, this is what I have to do. This is my shot to keep it going. Let's just fucking see if it works. You know? And it says, revisiting the distance from the present to the past. So I'm realizing, oh shit, Chester died fucking 7 years ago, 8 years ago to this point. Like, and I'm still stuck in that same spot. I can't stay in the same spot. Like, why would I do that to myself? You know? Why would I sacrifice my livelihood? You know? But we don't know how we went from where we were to where we're at. Like, I don't know how it came to be that I got over Chester dying. I was able to find somebody that was similar to him. I was able to find right right fill-in for him. So I wouldn't say Emily replaced Chester. I would say she fills in for him. You know? So, like, I found the right fill-in that feels natural, but I don't know how I got here. You know, how did I make this work? How was I able to move past all of that? How was I able to do all this if I was from where I was at? Like, I was thinking, like, my entire life's work's hanging in the balance. I can't go on. It goes back to that Over Again song. If you guys remember Over Again from our post-traumatic review over 2 years ago now, it's like, well, it's only my life's work hanging in the fucking balance. I was at this point where I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with myself, and now I'm here. I'm touring again. There's music out here. I got a new singer. I've got a new drummer. What the fuck? And then he's like, it sounds to me like he might be struggling with it a little bit. Like, still remembering how the band was with Chester, with Rob, when they were in the band, and then now all of a sudden he's fucking here. Wait, when did I get here? You know, that's what I'm getting from Mr. Shinoda here, from the band's comeback perspective. Let's see what Anthony's got.
So for me, this song is about life changing for someone. And the great thing about that is that that can apply to a lot of different things. It can apply to Chester, it can apply to relationship, it can just apply to life.
Yeah.
Because if you're looking at it from Mike's perspective, he was here, and especially that looking at it from the present to the past, you're looking at your history and what you did and using that to go forward, which is why it's so uncertain on the steps that you're taking. But you are taking the steps so that you don't stagnate, so that you can keep this alive. Because another thing that I really believe in is that you only truly die when, like, the last time your name is uttered. Like, the last time you have an effect on someone, the very last time, could be centuries down the line. That's the last time you actually die. And just keeping that immortalized. And let's say it probably wouldn't have happened. Let's say 30 years from now, right? Let's say Emily never came. Let's say Linkin Park faded out.
Mm-hmm.
Adding Emily to it has definitely made it so that it's more relevant in the current times, in the 2020s. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe later down the line we see how it goes then. But for now, it's keeping the spirit of Linkin Park alive. And that is, I think, a good goal for Mike to have had in mind when he did this. But you don't know how to move now because of the situation you're in now.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be his last chance in a million different ways. Like, maybe the next album doesn't do numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it only did numbers because Linkin Park's back. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So
What happens with the second album with the
it's
new Linkin Park?
it's a very uncertain spot that he's in,
Like, yeah,
looking towards the future.
yeah, I hit the nail on the head with this one, but am I gonna do it again on the second one? Because I mean, even though it's the eighth Linkin Park album, it's the first debut album with this version of Linkin Park. You know, with Emily, with fucking Colin. You know, I mean, drums. You can teach anybody drums, but like having a singer like it's their first time with Emily. You know, it's like, oh shit, okay, that hit pretty good. We got some good reviews. #1 on Billboard. Fucking Emptiness Machine trending worldwide. People still listening to it now. And on top of that, I've even seen clips of like people at like the live shows. Even when I went, which was like maybe a week and a half after they came back. Even when I went, people were singing Emptiness Machine. You know. Nah, I just saw a recent clip. These motherfuckers are singing Emptiness Machine like they sing Number in the end. I'm like, that's insane, you know? And Mike's looking at that like, holy fuck, I did it. I brought this band back, but still, how am I gonna follow through? You know? As I knock down my tower of cans here. But, it's like, yeah, a lot of uncertainty for Mike in this entire song, and I think it's a good way of looking at it, because, I mean, second Linkin Park album, it's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen now, but it's probably gonna happen. I'll say within the next 2 or 3 years. You know, in the next 2 or 3 years, there's gonna be a second Linkin Park album, Linkin Park's ninth studio album, but it's gonna be their sophomore album with Emily, and we all know the sophomore album curse. You know, is your second album gonna hit as good as your first one? And that might be where Mike could be at, especially thinking about like don't know how I came from where I was to where I am. You know, like I took this shot in the dark, got a little bit of criticism, got a little bit of backlash, but overall, pretty positive. You know, but now what? I don't have something to lean on anymore. I don't have like the normal formula that I used with Chester. You know, I'm working with a new person. I'm working with new people. How am I going to be able to continue this? And I think that's might be where Mike's brain's at, even right now. Currently, I'm sure he has doubts, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah,
I'm
for
sure he
sure.
has doubts. I mean,
Everyone, especially the people who produce, like, artists, actors, actresses, athletes, they, most of the time, if they're good, they try living up to their fan base.
mhm.
And that, honestly, it's a crushing pressure. Can you imagine if every Linkin Park fan ever was leaning on you so that you could produce something that will keep all of them happy? It's a failure that is going to happen.
Mhm.
But you've got to try your damnedest to make it as little as possible.
Yes, sir. And then that's a good way of looking at it. I mean, that's a lot of pressure coming from an artist. I mean, especially a notable artist like Linkin Park. You know, like that's one of the most generational bands of the past fucking 20 years. You know what I mean? They came out of nowhere. They had a lasting impact. They had a tragic death, and now they're back. But it's like their comeback was successful. But was it just because Linkin Park was on the title? You know, are people actually down with Emily? I am. But like, is everybody else? You know, I'm always looking forward. I'm always one to move forward. I'm a pretty progressive person. So, I mean, I'm always one for things will always get better as time goes on. But there are people that are like, as things go on, it's only going to get worse. And there's probably a couple Linkin Park fans that are like that. And they, but coming from that verse, we go into our pre-chorus, breaking our backs for a pile of sand. All that stuff. I'll remember you, no matter where our ways may take us. And even if your memories slip away, I won't let you fade. Then we have our bridge here. Emily and Mike sing together at this one. It said, I know I'm the one you want to forget, but I'll remember you. No matter where our ways may take us, and even when our memories slip away, time will test you. Time will test you. Time will test you. I won't let you fade. I think that just reinforces my point to reinforces my point that I've been riding off of this whole time. With Chester's comeback, like, I know I'm the one you want to forget. I know I'm not the one that was at the front of every single Linkin Park song. I know I was the guy that rapped everything and sang the background vocals, and you probably would rather me go away than Chester. But here's the thing: I'm gonna remember you, no matter where everything goes. Time's gonna test you. No matter what happens, you won't die. And I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna let you fade. Time will test you. And that's what I'm getting from that bridge here. I mean, it's mostly pretty much what I've been saying the whole time, but I think this just kind of reinforces my point and like brings it home, especially in the bridge because the instrumentals kind of take a little back seat at this point in the song, and then they're like you really just hear Mike and Emily's voice singing about that, and it also gives me, if I'm like, I know I've been talking from Mike's perspective this entire time because it's mostly been Mike at the helm of this song, but also makes me think of Emily. Like Emily's in the spot where a legendary fucking vocalist was. You know, and she probably feels a lot of fucking pressure too. I mean, I know I've been giving Mike most of the sympathy treatment, but think of Emily. Like, holy fuck, I just came out of nowhere. I'm a little bit different than Chester, but here's the thing: I'm not gonna let you die. That also, like I said, when Mike said it at the beginning, it's like he was taking up the torch, saying, "I'm not gonna let you die. I'm gonna move forward with the band." When it gets to the bridge, you can think about it from Emily's perspective. Like, I know I got chosen for this. Did I know this was going to be my position? Fuck no. Did I know that I was never going to fill the same shoes that Chester Bennington filled? Fuck yeah, I knew that coming in. But I'm taking up this torch because I loved Linkin Park growing up, that I'm not gonna let you fade. I'm not gonna let your memory go away. So I see this is Emily taking the mantle with Mike to service Chester, and service the spirit of Linkin Park in general. Because I mean, let's be honest, we look at Linkin Park like an entity. Linkin Park's its own thing. Chester, Mike, Emily, they're all parts of it, you know. But Linkin Park's the thing, That's the thing that everything's built off of, and we can't let it die. And I think this is like a message to the fans and a self-relying message to both Mike and Emily. Like, we're not going to let this die. And I see it as like a rallying call, I guess. And that's what I get with that bridge there. I mean, it's pretty much the same as the chorus. It's just time will test you is said a lot more times. Saying that time will service your legacy. And because time's going to service your legacy, we're going to completely keep it going. And that's what I see. But that's been how I've seen the entirety of Let You Fade to this point. What you got, Ant?
So, I truly do believe that people are just a culmination of the stuff that they've conquered in their life. Like, all the things you've been through make you who you are.
Facts.
And for me, them saying, I won't let you fade, is, it's, it's kind of, I'm trying to think of the right words for it. So, The words are just failing me right now. But
It's alright.
it's no. Okay, so it's immortalizing the stuff that have made them who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Be it Chester, be it relationship, be it fans, be it success. All of that is what you take into account moving forward. And that's what I think this part of the song really drives home for me. It's that you owe it to yourself and to all that you've gone through to make sure that you are better than what has made you. You have to take all that into account and be better for it. And I get that from this last part of the song.
Yeah. I mean, and then then we have our outro. I won't let you fade. What's next might just be the last. Kind of just reinforces everything that was said. Then it ends with I won't let you fade, and then the entire song closes out. Now, Anthony, we went over all three of the songs. I think we've already told them, but Unshattered's my favorite.
Unshattered, yep.
Unshattered's my favorite, but out of all three of the songs, were they good additions to From Zero?
They were great.
I feel like they were great additions, and I always felt like they were gonna struggle creating a deluxe edition because I didn't know how they were gonna fucking close it. Because Good Things Go is one hell of a fucking closer. So I was kind of curious. I'm like, how are they gonna actually end the album? You know, um, and with Let You Fade being the last song, I think that was the perfect. Once again, just like when Linkin Park came back the first time, and their first song was Emptiness Machine, and I said that was the perfect song for them to come back with because it fucking was. And Mike Shinoda's a goddamn genius, man, and he ended that with the song that's going to get a lot of Linkin Park fans, especially the well-established hardcore ones like myself, to think about what's been in the past. It tells them that we ain't gonna let Chester fade. You know, we're just gonna continue it on. You know, we're not replacing him. We're not erasing him. We are honoring him and we are moving forward with it. And that's kind of been like I said before, I think I said it earlier, that's been my entire perspective when it comes to the new reign of Linkin Park. A lot of people are like, oh, well, I like the new songs, but I think they should have changed the band name. I'm like, no, that does a disservice to Chester, you know? Because we know Linkin Park. I mean, I know it's Mike's band, but we know Linkin Park for Chester and his lyrics, his pain that he put in those songs, you know? So if you don't rename the band, then if you rename the band rather, then you let it fade. I know a lot of people kind of think of it like a tombstone, like R.I.P. Linkin Park, 1999 2017. I'm like, people are gonna forget a headstone, you know, and that's why I don't like to look at it from like a headstone perspective. Like, I don't think Mike Shinoda should have Dave Grohled it, you know, left Nirvana and then go start Foo Fighters. You know what I mean? But I didn't think he should have done that. So,
That's actually what I was gonna bring up too.
Yeah.
With Nirvana and Foo Fighters.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he should have Dave Grohled it. It was Mike that created the band. But here's the thing: he created the band, but put Chester at the forefront. You know, he's always been the background guy. You know, and I think that if you were to change the band, you'd forget all about Chester. And if you were to not, I like the new songs, but I don't like when she sings the old songs. I'm like, why? Why? You know, you guys are out here talking about Chester Bennington and wanting his legacy to live on, which I want it to live on too. Letting it live on by letting the song die with him, that ain't right, in my opinion. I think you gotta keep singing that shit. If you don't keep singing that shit, how are people gonna ever know that there was another vocalist in Linkin Park? Like, I'm thinking about like 10-year-old kids that are just getting into it now, like I was. You know, how are they gonna ever know that there was another singer if Linkin Park doesn't sing their old songs? You know, because then they'd be like, oh, I want to hear that song, and then they'd be like, oh wait, that's a different person. Who's that? You know, and then they'd be like, oh, it's Chester Bennington. Then I feel like they would take him and give him the same amount of pedestal that he does deserve, and then be like, but I like what they're doing here with Emily. So I think it does more of a disservice if you don't sing the new songs. I mean, I know that's a bit of a take. Some of y'all are probably going to disagree with that, but that's how I look at it. And it's a very, I guess, like I said earlier, a very progressive way of looking at it. because that's just how I am. I don't like when things just die. I like it when things keep going, and but still give a remembrance to it. So I think they did that excellently with Let You Fade. And as far as Up from the Bottom and Unshatter are concerned, those are just fucking awesome songs, man. I'm fucking jamming to those songs all the time. And overall, out of those three songs, we didn't give them out of 10. I give them an 8.5.
I'll give Unshattered a 9.
No, Unshatter is definitely a 9.
I'm gonna give Up from the Bottom an 8.5.
8.5 for Up from
And
the
Let You
Bottom.
Fade an 8.
Yeah, I mean, they're all great fucking songs. Comes out to an average of about 8.5. So, well, 8.3 more so. But based off of that. But still, it's a.
No, 8.5.
It's about
A
8.5.
9, 8.5, and an 8, 8.5.
Oh shit, yeah, you're right. See, this is why I'm a journalism major, guys. I like writing. But yeah, so that's my feelings on it. I fucking love the deluxe edition songs. I'm actually really want to listen to Let You Fade again as soon as this is offline. I'm probably gonna play it. So it's because I only listened to it I think 5 times on the release date. Only 5 times, but it's also because that same day Morgan Wallen released a new album, and like I said, I'm a pretty big Morgan Wallen fan. Do I like all of his antics that he's all of the controversies that he's been in? No, not really. But his songs are pretty fucking good, and I could separate the art from the artist. So yeah, definitely Morgan Wallen's new album, "I'm the Problem." It's a pretty good one. I mean, there's a couple of pretty good songs on there that I'd recommend you listen to. I really like Just In Case and the song that he made with Tate McRae with What I Want. Those are probably my top two favorite, but that's a pretty good album. I would consider if you guys are a fan of like newer country, or if you want to give a shot, if you want to give it a shot, I'd recommend you do it. Just know it's a pretty long album. It's about 30. It's about an hour and 57 minutes and 37 songs long. So the only reason why I was able to listen to the whole Morgan Wallen album the day it was released was because I was driving to my buddy's college graduation. Congratulations, Gavin, our other co-host on here. He just graduated college with a bachelor's in the arts, focused on physical education. He also got a Japanese studies minor and cultural intelligence certificate as well. So he graduated some pretty good credentials, and he was cum laude as well. So he made pretty good grades. So congratulations to Gavin. Drop that in the comments for getting it done, getting college done. But on the way there, he goes to college in Massachusetts. So I had to drive to Gillette Stadium out in Foxborough, and it was about an hour drive up. So I listened to the first half of the album on the way up. I listened to the second half of the album on the way back. So it was like the perfect storm for me to listen to the new Morgan Wallen album. But I do understand that's a lot of fucking time committed to listening to country music. So if you guys want to check it out, I highly recommend it. It's a pretty good album. So I gotta say, Anthony, you got anything else?
Pepsi, get in touch with us.
Pepsi, get in touch with us. We love Mountain Dew.
We love your products.
And-
All of our socials and ways of contacts, they're all some form of front row access 15.
Front row access at usually on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and not Facebook because fuck Facebook. And Pepsi, hit us up, get in contact with us. And if Pepsi doesn't get in contact with us, and here's her bush, hit us up. We're over the age of 21, so we got this. Anyway, guys, that being said, we will see y'all next week.